Today we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is everywhere we look these days. Companies like Google, Microsoft, Meta, Adobe, Twitter, IBM even, they all are investing billions of dollars into artificial intelligence. Even brands like Toys R Us and Levi's are using AI for some reason. I can't even take Charlie for a walk without seeing a self-driving car, and as I'm working on this video, Apple is on the verge of releasing their AI version of Siri to the world. It feels like AI is in more and more places every single day. And it's easy to understand why. These tools promise to do tons of cool things for us, like compile tons of information into more consumable formats, automate tasks that we don't want to do, and really that's just the tip of the iceberg for what these AI companies are claiming their technology can and will be able to do in the future. But because that technology isn't quite there yet, they often show us tasks that are probably better suited for humans to do, like write a letter to an Olympian from your daughter, or remind you of the name of the guy that you had a meeting a couple of months ago with at Cafe Grinnell.
What's the name of the guy I had a meeting with a couple of months ago at Cafe Grinnell?
See, that one's funny because she remembered the exact name of the cafe that they met at, but couldn't be bothered to ask him his name after only meeting him one time. They can also be used to write code for your 3-day action game. Isn't that kind of the whole thing? Like, you know that you don't have to make games and other people make games if you just want to play them. Is somebody forcing you to make a game? Are you okay? Or of course, Watson X your business. What does that mean? Well, I have no idea, and I'm guessing that neither do they. It's so widespread that it's infiltrating industries that it has no business being in, like coffee. Like this tool, which tracks how many drinks a barista makes in a given time period and tracks how long each customer is spending in the cafe to maximize profits for the business. You know, one of my favorite things about coffee shops is they're often such a great place to escape the chaos of life and just relax for a moment. That is until you're interrupted by a robot telling you to leave or buy another drink because they're trying to maximize their profits. Not to mention, like, who would want to work in that environment? This all sort of feels like some 80s dystopian future, and the funniest part about this is I tried to Google an 80s dystopian future that would be somewhat similar to this, and guess what the first result that came up was? This fucking video. And I tested this in 2 different browsers in incognito mode, so it's not just like a weird one-off thing. But maybe you don't work in coffee and you're not really worried about the robots coming for your job. Well, you might need to be worried because the clankers are coming for you too. That's right, you, your parents, your grandparents are all out of luck because the robots are going to start making your shitty Keurig coffee for you. And it's only going to take them a couple tries. But hands down, my favorite use of AI in coffee has to be from the king of Four Seasons landscaping himself, Mr. Rudolph Giuliani. And at first, you might not notice anything weird about this website, but then as you start to look closer, things get a little funky. First I thought coffee seems like a weird fit for Rudy, but then I realized he owes millions of dollars and his body produces this substance, so I would pass it off as coffee too. Now look, it's obviously fun to goof on AI and maybe be a little bit afraid of it in some cases, but my honest opinion of AI is that it's a really cool technology that I think has some exciting use cases. Especially as a small business owner, I really do see the benefit of a lot of these tools. So I wanted to give these AI tools a fair shot and see if they really are all they're cracked up to be. I decided to start with a tool that would give me some personalized AI business advice. And this is an area I genuinely need help in because I'm a first-time business owner and I'm literally winging it every single step of the way. So I turned to a chatbot called Claude that's supposed to be really good from this company called Anthropic. And one thing that I really liked right off the bat is immediately when I asked for business advice, it asked for a bunch of clarifying questions about my business. So I gave it some detailed responses about where I am, what I've been struggling with, and what's been working well. And to my surprise, I actually got some really good advice, and a lot of this stuff stuff I'm gonna be trying to implement as much as I can. The advice was super detailed and actually took into account all of the stuff that I talked about and mentioned to the chatbot, which was really, really cool. And I would legitimately recommend this experience to anyone, especially people running a solo operation, because it can just be so hard to see the forest through the trees sometimes. Okay, so AI was off to a really great start so far, offering me some great business advice, but let's see how good it is at something that's a little bit more tactile and hands-on in my business. Holidays are a huge time for coffee shops, and one thing that a lot of coffee shops will do is create special holiday drinks to drive new customers into their business to try these new drinks. So I wanted to see how good AI would be at creating some fun new holiday drink recipes for me. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with 3 holiday drink recipes for me for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Once I had the recipes, I also asked the chatbot to create a shopping list for me for these drink recipes, which that part was really sick. And normally this would take me a ton of time coming up with the ideas, shopping for all the ingredients, and then getting all the proportions just right. But with AI, it's just a couple of keystrokes and boom, we've got our drink recipes ready to go. All right, now that we've done all of our shopping and we have our recipes, it is time to try these drinks and see if they're any good. So this recipe was basically just a mocha, except I was supposed to mix cocoa powder with maple syrup for some reason, and also activated charcoal, but I don't know what that is and I couldn't find it anywhere, so. I'll be honest, it just tastes like a mocha to me. Not terrible. I mean, I think people would buy this at a cafe and would be perfectly happy with it. So I'm gonna give it like a 7. This recipe called for more maple syrup and something called pecan extract, which I couldn't find, so I just used almond extract instead, and oh my god, is that stuff strong. The almond extract is really strong. I tried to tell you. Oh, it's so sweet. Way too sweet. I don't like that. Also, I don't like nuts in my coffee. This one's not good. This one gets a 5. Our final holiday drink called for some gingerbread syrup, which I had to make from molasses, ground ginger, cinnamon, and brown sugar, and then we topped it off with some whipped cream and a gingerbread cookie. It's so strong. It's really like a pop in the mouth. It's like the spice like burns the back of your throat. I think maybe some molasses. Ugh. This is like a 4. It just feels like all of these were really a little bit too sweet. Even the mocha was a little sweet for my taste. All right, so the AI helped give me a ton of great personalized business advice, but it also struggled a lot with creating fun holiday drink recipes that didn't taste horrible. But honestly, if we can knock this next task out of the park, this will completely change my business. Hands down, the biggest problem I have with my coffee business is finding new customers. There's a million places that people can buy coffee from, and getting my name out there is something that I really struggle with, especially not having a physical location. So I wanted to see if AI could help me create some ads to tell people about my coffee. And if these AI tools are really as good as they say they are, they should have no problem making a better ad than me. So for this next test, I'll be putting an AI ad up against an ad that I created in 3 different formats. A post on Instagram, a vertical video on TikTok, and a horizontal video on YouTube. And whichever ad can drive the most signups to my Patreon will be crowned the winner. Speaking of Patreon, because I'm a small coffee roaster, okay, technically a micro, I can't really afford a physical coffee shop. So instead, I created a Patreon where you can get specialty coffee roasted by me sent to your door each month. This month, customers got this delicious triple washed Kenyan coffee. It's absolutely one of my favorites. It's actually the coffee that I use on my interview show, Grounds Up, just because I love it so much. Becoming a Patreon member is really the best way that you can support me if you like what I'm doing here. It's also the cheapest way to get my coffee because it includes the cost of shipping. And as an extra bonus, Patreon members get a new design printed on their bag each month. I hand draw, carve, and print each one as an extra way to say thank you for your support. This month's design is me drawing Charlie as a Pokemon. I call her Charlie-mander. But if you don't like subscriptions, that's totally cool. You can always buy our bags individually on charliescoffeecompany.com. And if you're looking for other ways to support, you can always like and subscribe to the video. That means a ton, and thank you so much. All right, let's get back to the video. To make sure that I was making the best video I could with the AI tools, I invited my friend Jackie over to help. My friend Jackie Jackie. She's super smart and works in AI. Jackie, would you tell people a little about yourself?
Yeah, so I've worked in the machine learning space for I think about 7 years now. I worked on control systems for a while in national labs, and now I work on language models.
What I'm hoping to do is like one of the big promises of AI that I hear is that it's going to take out a lot of work that we don't want to do. And one of the things I really don't want to do is make ads. I'm hoping you can help me with our prompt engineering and getting the best results possible.
Sounds great.
The plan is to make this as much like AI driven as possible. So everything from like the script to the video itself, like the voiceover, if we do voiceover, like it's all going to be done by AI if possible.
Cool.
So Jackie and I got to work writing a script and descriptions for what the ad would look like using ChatGPT, then plugged that into Runway AI to create the video itself, added some voiceover using Artlist, and finally created an AI song using Suno. And here's what the final results looked like. On the left is the ad that I made, super simple, nothing fancy, and on the right is the ad that DALL-E made. For the vertical video, this is what I made. And this is what the AI made.
Welcome to Charlie's Coffee Company, where every cup is an experience. Each month, hand-roasted beans are delivered straight to your door, ready to brew perfection. Join our Patreon and get your monthly box of Charlie's signature blends, crafted just for you. Charlie's Coffee Company, where every sip feels like home.
And for the horizontal video, this is what I made. And this is what the AI made.
Welcome to Charlie's Coffee Company, where every cup is an experience. Each month, hand-roasted beans are delivered straight to your door, ready to brew perfection. Join our Patreon and get your monthly box of Charlie's signature blends, crafted just for you. Charlie's Coffee Company, where every sip feels like home.
Jackie, who do you think is going to win between the AI and me? I feel like the AI is going to win.
I think you're gonna win.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
maybe people are gonna hate Connor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my thought. People are gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
People will be like, is this AI?
Yeah, exactly. If you want to learn more about AI and how to use it, you can follow Jackie on social media.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah.
And Instagram?
Yeah, I have an Instagram too.
Okay, I'll put them on the screen. But yeah, go follow Jackie.
Right.
She's awesome.
Cool. Bye, everybody.
I spent a bunch of time researching and using these tools for this video, so I wanted to share just some quick thoughts and also just some reporting that I feel like is really missing from a lot of these conversations when we talk about AI. For me, the current state of AI can really be summed up in 5 words. The first 2 being move fast. AI companies need to raise a bunch of money, build a product really quickly, and launch it as early as possible so that they can learn from their mistakes and iterate and grow the product. This is where all of the hype comes from. AI is this incredible technology that is doing things that we only thought possible in science fiction. It may not get it right all the time, but when it does, it really feels magical. And I totally get that. I remember when I got my iPhone and it had the fingerprint reader on it, and I was just completely blown away. And I think AI is giving a lot of people that same feeling right now. There's so much optimism and excitement about this technology. For example, these large language models, they actually take text and encode meaning and context into it, and they do all of that through numbers. Like, that is really cool. And this move fast mentality is the model that every modern tech company is built upon. They put all of the emphasis on speed in an effort to become the biggest name in the AI industry. But balancing out all of that hype are the last 3 words: and break things. And this is where the harm comes in. These AI models that do really impressive things were all trained on writing, photos, videos, and art from people who didn't consent to their work being used in that way. Not only that, but the artists whose work trained these models are not benefiting in any way. And that's not even to mention the other truly horrible impacts of our current approach to AI. like getting rid of safety teams. There's no time for safety. It might slow us down. Or the environmental impacts of building these supercomputers. They use tremendous amounts of raw materials and are mined in really destructive ways. And on top of that, they use a ton of energy, which mostly comes from fossil fuels. Or even using slave labor to train their models, which includes identifying explicit material, because it's faster and cheaper to pay people pennies in developing countries to help train these models. And some of the people doing this work are literal children, because they don't want to take the time to verify them as adults. And they certainly don't want to spend the money on mental health resources to help them cope with the horrific images that they paid them to watch. Not to mention that AI is moving way faster than our government can, which is the only real way to regulate this technology. I mean, they still haven't even figured out how to regulate social media, for Christ's sake. See, the problem with putting all your focus on speed is that you don't give a shit about who gets caught in your wake. So yes, the technology is moving incredibly fast, but it's also breaking a lot of things. But let's set all of that aside and talk about the promise of AI and why I think it's built on a false premise. And we can't talk about AI without at least mentioning Sam Altman, the man with all the right things in his wiki bio and one I would deem mega nerd. See, Sam describes AI as sort of a steam engine for the mind. The steam engine helped us build, and AI will help us think. The thing is, we already know how to solve most of the problems in our modern world. We just don't really like the answers. For example, climate change. We know what causes it and we know how to stop it. We just refuse to stop using fossil fuels and invest in renewable energy. And if we want to solve poverty, we can do that too. We can create social safety nets and provide services to people who need them. It's not fucking rocket science. We just don't like to change the way that we live. And I think to a lot of people, these talking points can be really convincing, but I don't think the best way to solve poverty with $6.6 billion is to build a computer. If you have $6.6 billion and your goal is really to solve poverty, don't you think that there's better ways to do that? At the end of the day, I just don't buy that any of this is being built to help people or save humanity. The reason people are building this software is to make themselves more rich. And the nerds can go spend their $6 billion on a computer that's going to be marginally better than the last one. All the while using more land, energy, and resources. Now look, I don't mean to be all doom and gloom about AI, because I really do think it's cool technology. But in no world is it worth this amount of harm to create a chatbot that tells you to put glue on pizza. And look, I love goofing on AI as much as the next person, but I really do think it's important to know that this technology is not going to go to some quiet corner of the internet like the metaverse and crypto. AI, for better or for worse, is here to stay. And I think it's really important that we reckon with that. Because once we do, we can start demanding change for how it's built, used, and regulated. But look, I'm just a fucking idiot who roasts coffee, so what do I know? And with that long rant out of the way, let's reveal the results of the greatest test of man versus machine the world has ever known.
Starting with Instagram, 250,000 people saw my post, 166 people clicked on it, giving me a click-through rate of 0.7%. The AI post had a total of 11,000 people see it, 480 of them clicked on it, giving it a click-through rate of 4.1%. With my TikTok ad, I managed to get 21,000 views, 269 clicks, leaving us with a click-through rate of 1.3%. And the AI ad got a total of 8.9 thousand views, 74 clicks, giving it a total click-through rate of 0.8%. Finally, YouTube. My ad got a total of 35,000 views, 426 clicks, giving it a total click-through rate of 1.3%. The AI ad got 62,000 views, 266 clicks, giving it a click-through rate of 0.4%. I managed to beat the AI 2-to-1 for views and clicks, but the real test is to see which set of ads drove the most Patreon signups. The AI ads didn't drive any signups in the week that they ran, and my ads managed to get... okay, also 0.
Well, fuck.